They're suing you to recoup the training costs they gave you, like
Oh,
for training camp?
they said if I shut up and pay back the 15 grand for the 5 months of training, if I shut up and pay that back, they won't sue me for damages.
Creator Clash's Meltdown has gone nuclear, with Ian and Anisa, the organizers, doubling down on their bizarre banning of Froggy Fresh from the fight just 3 weeks before this huge event in Tampa. And there's some new stuff that's come out in the last 2 days that is absolutely unbelievable. Creator Clash responded to all of the backlash. We're going to look at that. It's pretty bad. And then there's been some new allegations that have come out about, one, Anisa dating Froggy Fresh's opponent in the fight, Chris Raygun, and two, Ian and Anisa threatening to sue Froggy Fresh if he continues to talk about all of this. Let's get into it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this probably sounds crazy to you, so go watch part 1. I'll put a link right here and then come right back because this story just keeps getting crazier. So where we last left this story off a couple of days ago, Froggy Fresh got kicked off this massive event that he's been training for months for making a pretty tame joke about the organizer Anisa's OnlyFans account. This OnlyFans account wasn't a secret. He wasn't blowing the top off some huge story. And her husband, Ian, Idubbbz, has previously said that he doesn't care about people making jokes about his wife's OnlyFans account.
For those of you who are unaware of the drama I recently brought upon myself, I'll fill you in. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account, which is a website where you can upload amateur anything from double penetration all the way over to lewd cosplay and everything in between. And I think all of it is cool. Yeah, I know. I didn't think it would be a controversial opinion either. A good amount of people are just doing the reasonable thing and just making jokes and laughing about it. But there's a whole nother group of people who feel personally devastated and betrayed.
So the people that he's talking about that felt personally devastated and betrayed, he's right. There are people who were like, you would never stand for this. This isn't you. At the time, when he came out and said this, it made a lot of sense what he was saying. But catch what he said right before that. He said that making jokes about it is a reasonable thing to do. Making jokes about it is a normal thing to do. He said that in this video when the whole controversy broke. And so it was just kind of understood that it's okay to make jokes about because he said it himself. But apparently it wasn't, because Froggy Fresh made a joke about Anisa's OnlyFans and very soon after got kicked off of the creator card lineup. But it turns out that there might have been a lot more going on behind the scenes. So after they kicked Froggy Fresh off of the card, there was so much backlash that of course they had to make some kind of update. They had to try and clarify the situation, and they did. It was pretty bad. So from the official Creator Clash Twitter, they tweeted, "As you may be aware, we recently announced Froggy Fresh would be leaving the Creator Clash 2 ticket. We want to provide some additional information around the rationale for this decision. To help clarify some of the online chatter, please help clarify some of the online chatter. I'm begging you. We have a legally binding code of conduct that each of our Creator Clash 2 fighters are held to, the violation of which is grounds for termination. Unfortunately, there were several violations made by Froggy Fresh during his tenure with Creator Clash this year." Wow! They're going to tell us what rules he broke and how he broke them so we won't be mad anymore. That's awesome. The Creator Clash 2 team, inclusive of the production company, takes violations seriously and made several unsuccessful attempts to address them directly with Froggy Fresh in the hopes we could work together to get things back on track. When it became clear that the exhibited behavior wasn't stopping, at risk to the other fighters, fans, and others involved in the event, the Creator Clash 2 team made the collective decision to move forward without Froggy Fresh on the ticket. Our number one priority is ensuring Creator Clash 2 is a positive, safe, and welcoming space for everyone. They talk a little bit about a couple of the charities they've donated money to, and then they say the fighters have all been working so hard and can't wait to get into the ring. Let's focus on their fights, not any that may exist online. Creator Clash 2. Wow! That has got to be one of the most informative posts I've ever seen regarding a controversy. Don't you guys feel enlightened? Didn't that clear the whole situation up? Now we know exactly what rules Froggy Fresh broke and how he broke them, and it was totally justified to kick him out of the fight. Wait, what did he do? I still don't I still don't know. This is so backhanded. Like, to go at someone and say, he broke the rules. We're not going to tell you what rules he broke, but he broke the rules. Just trust us. It was legally binding, guys. He broke the law. He broke the law, guys. It was legally binding. We can't tell you what law. We can't tell you what's in the contract. And we can't tell you how he broke the contract. Source, trust me, bro. So after this was posted, everyone stopped being mad. They put down their pitchforks and the mob went home and nobody was mad at Creator Clash anymore. Just kidding. This was an absolute clusterfuck. Later that night, the council convened. Froggy Fresh was there. His trainer, Sam Hyde, was there, who Ian has some weird hate vendetta against. And everyone decided to get together and try to figure out what Creator Clash was cryptically accusing Froggy Fresh of. What did he do that was so terrible that they couldn't even mention it in their PR tweet? How had he broken the contract and the trust of Ian and Anisa?
Someone should have called Froggy or emailed him or texted him and said, hey, you got to delete this tweet.
No,
something.
100%. If Ian would have sent me a message and been like, hey, Froggy, if Ian would have been like, Froggy, I don't appreciate like you subscribing to Anisa's OnlyFans, I would be like, oh, my bad. Like, but nobody, Ian didn't reach out to me. It was like, hey, he didn't reach out to me and let me know that Anisa's OnlyFans was fucking off limits.
So there you have it. Ian didn't even tell Froggy to stop doing it. He didn't even get a warning. He didn't even get a, hey man, knock it off. Like, it was just, you're cut. And then Keemstar, who's in this call, asks, can't they see that you're just talking smack back to Anisa's mom who started the fight? It's not even you that started it. And Froggy replied like this.
Really, they want to know the main reason I even made them responses? Because I wanted to draw attention to what I knew was already happening. Because I had this gut feeling that I was about to get kicked out. So once I seen Anisa's mom talking about it public, I was like, oh shit, they're about to kick me out. Like, look at how Anisa's mom is already talking about me. I wanted people to see the tone of like how things were ran right there.
So this kind of puts things in a whole new light. If Froggy already thought that he might get kicked off the card before he even bantered back to Anisa's mom, then the Anisa's mom back and forth can't be the reason that they kicked him off the card. He already had some kind of an idea that they were looking to get rid of him. What would have given him that idea? That's what they talk about next.
Froggy, do you have any idea at all what they could possibly be talking about? Or
Dude, this is the only thing I can guess. Like, I can tell you, I can break the story, the timeline of events down for you. Sam Hyde is the greatest comedian of all time. I'm training boxing. I was like, this is my end. I could go work with Sam Hyde. So I reach out to Sam Hyde. I'm like, yo, like you like, let's train. He's like, cool, come up. Sam Hyde retweets my video of me going to Providence. 15 minutes later, Ian's calling me. I'm getting out of the shower. I say, let me call you back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes goes by. I'm still like almost done getting dressed. He calls me back again. I say, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, hi, I seen some concerning things on your Twitter. What is your relationship with Sam Hyde? I was like, what is this, an investigation? Because I was like, whoa, so like this beef is that real? Like, as soon as I'm going to meet Sam Hyde, like it's already a problem.
is this Idubbbz, by the way? This is Idubbbz, right?
Yeah, this is Ian. And so
It's
I was like,
crazy.
yeah, so I was like, is this an investigation? Because it was weird to me. And he was like, yeah, it actually kind of is. And I'm like, nah, bro, this isn't something I'm interested in, basically. And so I was like, no. I was like, what, this is weird, like, basically. And it just went us back and forth with me being like, no, like, not feeling this phone call. Like, you could text me if you want. And then, like, so he started texting me, like, and, oh, yeah, we're on the phone call. And he's like, Sam Hyde said some hurtful things about me and Anisa. And I'm like, dude, like, go talk to a therapist. Like, why is this my problem?
That's such a good answer from Froggy. So this is, to put this in context, he says this is the third time ever that Ian has ever called him. Froggy's been training for like maybe 4 or 5 months at this point. Ian has barely communicated with him. This is their third phone call ever, according to Froggy. And Ian says, yeah, this is an investigation. I want to know why you're going to go train with Sam Hyde. And he tells Froggy he said some very hurtful things about me and my wife. And Froggy says, what does that have to do with me? Go to a therapist. Due to the conversation being so bizarre and weird, Froggy starts to get a weird feeling. He starts thinking that they're going to kick him out. He starts thinking, maybe I'm on thin ice at this point. Next, he says he just straight up asked Ian if this was going to get him kicked out of the fight.
When I told him, when he asked me to about the Sam Hyde stuff, and was like, without telling me, it was like he was without telling me I wasn't allowed to go work with Sam Hyde. It was like he kept telling me I wasn't allowed to work with Sam Hyde. Over the course of like 20 text exchanges that like we could get into another time. But I kept asking him, okay, look, I'm going to work with Sam Hyde. It's got nothing to do with you. Am I kicked out of the event? And he would say, da 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 da, and not answer my question. I say, dude, look, am I kicked out of the event? And then he would send me another paragraph not answering my question. And I'd be like, dude, am I kicked out of the event? Like, I have to schedule practice for this week right now with my coach. He wouldn't answer my question. And then he was like, ultimately, it's your decision. That was the last text we had. So I'm like, ultimately, it's my decision. What? I'm going to work with Sam Hyde. He's a comedian. It's got nothing to do with you. So, yes. So I said, okay, thanks. I'll fight. So that was like a week before I'm going to go see Sam Hyde. So then I'm in Providence for a week. So then he waits like 2 weeks to kick me out. Like, that's why I kept asking him, like, am I done now? Because I need to know. Because I'm scheduling training and stuff. Like that's why I'm asking for a heads up. Like, obviously, this whole Sam Hyde thing's got you shook for some reason when you could literally just call the dude and just be like, hey, Sam, like, let's squash all this. I know, like, it ain't, because it's not like you think Sam sits in his office all day while he's writing the script for a damn fucking MD2 and shit. You think he's sitting there like, hey, how can we fuck with Ian and Anisa today while I'm trying to get my $1 million brand off the ground?
He straight up tried to ask Ian, hey, if I do this, are you going to kick me out of the fight? If I do this, am I kicked out? And instead of giving him a straight answer, he just replied with a paragraph, a wall of text every time. Kind of like the wall of text we saw earlier, huh? That didn't explain anything and just left Froggy more confused. And then to tell him it's your decision, that is the most like gaslighty thing you could possibly say to someone. Ultimately, it's up to you. What the fuck does that mean? I can totally empathize with Froggy being confused and not understanding, and then it sounds like 2 weeks later, then they kicked him out of the fight, which is just completely bizarre. Like, they let him waste all of that time and money going out to Rhode Island to train with Sam, the flight, the accommodations, everything. But it gets even worse. Froggy then went on to say that he thinks that Ian wanted him to fight Chris Ray Gun because Chris Ray Gun has some kind of relationship with Ian's wife, Anisa.
I already knew Anisa and Chris Ray Gun had history. I was like, damn, I see all the cards now. Chris Ray Gun went to Creator Clash 1 and like went there and he probably had sex that night and was like, shit, I could beat up fucking Michael Reeves and Stephen Graham. And he was like, Anisa, put me in this bitch. Oh, shit. And Anissa's boyfriend's gonna be fighting. He's gonna win his fucking fight against these nerds, and then it's gonna be like Anisa and him celebrate while I get my fucking face punched in on whoever I fight after I turn down Greg Paul or whatever. So I'm thinking this motherfucker wants me to beat the shit out of Chris Ray Gun because he knows like I'm one of these creators that don't fucking got like pillow hands. He brings my trailer park ass in there because he wants me to fuck up Chris Ray Gun, and I was like, I mean, fuck it, whatever like brings money for charity is what I'm down for.
What kind of proof or evidence is there out there of Chris Ray Gun and Anisa like being a thing? Because
I'll tell you what evidence there is. Bro, when we gone out to damn Denny's in this when that Mucha Lucha, shout out to John Hennigan, the Mucha Lucha wrestling event, bro, Anisa and Chris got so much damn chemistry. I swear to God, they were damn talking the whole damn night back and forth to each other. When I would try to talk to Chris Ray Gun, it looked like Anisa would get upset at me. And I'm to be honest with you, I was feeling Chris Ray Gun too, so I even get it. Because I was feeling Chris Ray Gun. I was like, dude, if I was bi or gay, I fuck with Chris Ray Gun heavy. So it's like,
hey, yo.
Me and Chris would be chatting it up. It was like Anisa be looking at me like I'm trying to take her fucking man.
God damn.
So, look, I'm not going to linger on this point too much because I kind of put this in the bin of like crazy conspiracy theories that there's something going on between Anisa and Chris Ray Gun. I don't think that this is like a real reason that they kicked Froggy out of the fight. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I'm not going to put a lot of stock into it, but it is a funny part of the story. And then the conversation of the call moves to, well, why would Ian trash this entire massive event? Why would they destroy the reputation of this event over a mild joke about Anisa's OnlyFans, if that was in fact what caused them to kick Froggy Fresh off of the card?
It's like, it reminds me of like, not to make a crude analogy, but it reminds me of instead of putting clothes on Anisa, he demands that the entire audience is blindfolded.
Wow, that was intelligence right there. That was deep.
So that was Froggy Fresh dropping an absolute knowledge bomb, like an absolute analogy, just deep wisdom. And so it makes a lot of sense, right? Because Ian on the one hand is saying, I don't care if you make jokes about Anisa's OnlyFans, but then Froggy makes a joke about Anisa's OnlyFans and ends up getting kicked off the card. But next, the guys in the call tried to figure out why Ian might have such a big problem with Froggy Fresh training with Sam Hyde.
When it felt like Ian was trying to scare me out of doing Sam, I was like, damn, it's almost like Ian don't like people going to give Sam a good rap, dude. It's almost like because Ian knows if people go work with Sam, they're gonna be like, damn, this dude's dope as bro. So it's almost like that's the vibe I got, and I was like, cause damn, Harley went out there and Sam was cool as, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna go out there and Sam will be cool as, and I was like, oh shit, Ian don't want me to go out and work with Sam because he's gonna be like, oh shit, Sam is cool as, and it's almost like again another situation when it's like instead of giving Sam a stage, or it's like he wants to again blindfold the audience.
That's a really interesting point, because if Ian truly has this big of a problem with Sam, maybe that is why he doesn't want people training with him. He doesn't want people to see that Sam is a cool guy, according to Froggy. But the claims went from Anisa having a secret boyfriend and Ian being insecure about Sam Hyde to a lawsuit, like an actual lawsuit threat.
They're suing you to recoup the training costs they gave you. Like,
they said if I shut up and pay back the $15,000 for the 5 months of training, if I shut up and pay that back, they won't sue me for damages. But if I don't shut up and pay that back, they could potentially sue me for damages.
They're that petty? What have you done to warrant that? That doesn't even make any sense.
The only thing I can guess, as far as the internet is guessing, is it's either the Anisa OnlyFans joke, which again blows my mind because we have Idubbbz on the internet saying, hey, the OnlyFans shit doesn't bother me. Okay, so I make a Chris Ray Gun Anisa OnlyFans joke. Okay, then I'm kicked out of the event. Or is it me going to train with Sam Hyde? It can only be one of two things.
That's crazy. They're actually saying that they're going to sue him for the $15,000 plus damages maybe if he doesn't stop talking about this. And that's wild. Again, Brandon Buckingham asks him, why? For what? What is the lawsuit even going to say? And he says, I don't know, either OnlyFans or being associated with Sam Hyde. One of those two things apparently is enough to get you sued by Creator Clash, which is absolutely unbelievable. And other people on the call thought the same thing. Here's Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers. This is what he had to say about Froggy Fresh potentially getting sued.
You got to make
if you get sued, I'm down to pay for your legal fees. I don't give a fuck. This shit is cringe as hell.
Damn, bro, I appreciate it.
That is a boss move. He said he put no strings attached. He didn't say I'll cover part of it. He didn't say I'll start a Kickstarter. He just said straight up, I will pay your legal fees. And he went on Twitter later and reiterated it. So I think Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers genuinely is willing to pay whatever it costs. But it wasn't all just everyone agreeing and everyone singing Kumbaya and yeah, screw Creator Clash and this is unjust. Ian and Anisa have one big defender, and that's Harley. Harley fought last year, and ironically, he was trained by Sam Hyde and never got kicked out of the fight. Harley's whole stance is that Ian and Anisa did nothing wrong, and he's been on Twitter for the last 2 days just arguing with people. He will reply to anyone right now. It's actually kind of unhinged, but this is what he had to say. He said, I can't sign a contract and then post it, but I did look up a boilerplate contract for a boxing event. There is an extremely similar cause. Let me know if you guys need help understanding how there was a breach. I don't represent Creator Clash. I just want Keem to STFU. So basically he's saying Froggy Fresh breached the contract. I can't show it, but here's an example of what it would look like. So it says, fighter agrees, represents, and warrants that he and his accompanying personnel shall conduct themselves in conformity with public conventions, morals, and standards of decency, and do not or commit any act or do anything that could degrade themselves, the broadcasters, the site, event sponsors, the event, or subject any of them to public hatred, contempt, scorn, ridicule, or disrepute, shock, or offend their patrons or employees, prejudice their standard in the community, or subject them to liability. A breach of this provision shall entitle the event to terminate its obligations under this agreement. The problem with this clause is it's so vague that you could use this to terminate anybody's contract for anything. And that's pretty much what they did. If this clause or something like it is in fact in the Creator Clash contract that they have the fighters sign, which wouldn't surprise me, then they could literally just decide, you made a joke that hurts our reputation, we're terminating your contract. This is like an easy button to get out of a contract if you're somebody writing these that just says, oh, you degraded me, you're out, sorry, the money, give us it back. We gave you money to live off of for 5 months, give it back to us right now or we're going to sue you. So Froggy and Harley are kind of going back and forth on Twitter, and Harley says being a guest is different than being under contract. Not only that, but if you want to shit talk a McMahon, you better be the Hulkster. And he's talking about Vince McMahon, the guy from that meme. If you didn't watch WWE growing up as a kid, I am sorry for you. You really missed out. It was amazing. And then this guy replies, Sliggity Dog, this is a great analogy because if Hulk Hogan shit talked Vince and was banned for it, all the fans would probably rally behind him and stop supporting Vince. That's what's happening with Creator Clash right now. And that's absolutely right. It's obvious that Ian and Anisa have a personal problem, either with the joke that Froggy Fresh made and or his association with Sam Hyde, and they should have just told him up front, hey, you can't say that, or hey, you can't train with that guy, or else we're going to kick you out. But instead, it sounds like, if what Froggy's saying is true, that they gave him a bunch of weird non-answers and started acting bizarre to him, and then waited and kicked him out, and now they're threatening to sue him. I don't think they understand how bad this looks. How much trust do you have to have as a fighter to say, yeah, I'm going to sign up for Creator Clash 3. If I make a joke about the wrong person, I might get kicked off. I might get sued, but yeah, I'll sign up for Creator Clash 3. If I associate with the wrong people that the hosts have personal beefs with, I might end up in a court of law. But yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to sign up for Creator Clash 3. This is no way to run an event. I said it the last time I covered this a couple days ago, and I'll say it again. This is amateur behavior. Vince McMahon would let people make jokes about him. He's a great entertainer. He understands that it's okay for people to make jokes at your expense if it makes your entertainment better. And I don't think Ian and Anisa understand that. I think their skin is so thin. I think they are so easily hurt and offended because their egos are so huge that they're derailing their entire event over this. And then Mudahar tweeted, he reaffirmed, like, yes, I'm going to pay Froggy Fresh's legal fees. He said, threatening litigation like this kind of worries me, but I hate it when smaller creators have to face any legal crap. It ruins lives. I'm down to cover it all. No need for GoFundMes. I just want this to be resolved, and I want a successful event at the end of the day. And this is kind of where we're at with this situation. And Froggy went on later in that call and later in a tweet also to say that he has a mortgage. He has 2 kids. He can't afford to get sued by Ian and Anisa. And so the only reason that Froggy Fresh won't potentially go bankrupt if they sue him is because Mudahar is offering to pay the costs. I don't think Ian and Anisa realize how much of villains this makes them in this situation. I don't think that they realize how bad this makes them look and their event look. They're willing to sue this guy who wouldn't even be able to afford to defend himself because he either 1, made a joke that they didn't like that wasn't even offensive, or 2, trained with somebody that Ian doesn't like and they never told him he wasn't allowed to do it. That's unbelievable. And I really hope that there are some other boxing events that can kind of take this one's place, because I gotta be honest, I really was rooting for Creator Clash. I really liked this event. I think they did a great job last year. Yes, they had drama. Yes, they had stuff go on. But I really think it's cool when there's mainstream level events that kind of showcase YouTubers and showcase that whole culture. It just really stinks to see Ian and Anisa put their personal beefs and their personal egos above their business. They're letting their personal stuff destroy their business. They either need to hire a manager to run this thing for them and just remove themselves. They can be like the celebrity, they can be the Vince McMahon. They can be the one in the ring that's talking smack to people. But I don't think that they have it in them to run this in a competent and professional way. What do you guys think?